Boys, today we are back, and today I'm going to be going over, in my opinion, which champion has the highest chance to keep or lose their belt in 2026. Now, I'm going to be going through every women's division, every men's division, and we're going to be talking about, in my opinion, starting from most likely to lose their belt to least likely to lose their belt in 2026. I have some contenders listed who I think will beat them. And if I'm not explaining it correctly, we'll just get right into it and, you'll see how it starts. So starting off, we are doing women's divisions. Mackenzie Dern. Now, I think Mackenzie Dern, out of every single champion right now, has the most chance to lose her belt in her next fight. All right. And I think that's because her versus Zhang Weili will happen at some point this year. And I think Zhang beats her. So I think she has, actually, no chance to beat Zhang. I think Zhang's way, high levels above her. Tatiana Suarez, if she somehow gets the shot, I think she could also beat Dern in the next fight. So, Mackenzie Dern. We're not going to, go too, in depth, with the women. I'm sorry. No offense, but it's just, the divisions aren't that deep. So I think Mackenzie Dern has the biggest chance to lose her belt in 2026 to either Zhang or Tatiana Suarez. I think they both beat her in her next fight. And especially because I think it will be Zhang, then I think Zhang shows levels and beats her. So moving on, Josh Van. Now, I'm starting kind of like a hate watch thing on Josh Van right now because I don't really fuck with him, after he celebrated after, fluking my guy Pantoja. But I think Josh Van is, the second UFC champ, like the second most UFC champion that's going to lose, that has the potential to lose his belt. And that's because I think, all three of these contenders that I listed, Tyra, Pantoja, and Cap, I think they all beat him. Or they don't all beat him, but they all have a good chance of beating him in his next fight. If it's Tyra, I think Tyra can use wrestling and like back takes. That would be, I think that'd be a good matchup for Tyra. Pantoja, like I said in past videos, I think he's going to get the shot next now that he's coming back around the summer. So, in my opinion, Pantoja, that will be a scrap, him versus Van. And I think Pantoja can beat him. So, and then I also think Manel Cap has a really good chance of beating him. That'd just be a nice striker fight. So, Josh Van, I think, he will lose his, he will be one of the first to lose his belts in 2026. I think he has, one of the highest chances to lose his belt, especially with these three contenders. So, Josh Van, I'm sorry, you're behind some of the women, so that's kind of tough. But anyway, let's move on. Number 9 is Valentina. Now, I think Valentina has, a few options for losing. I think she's got a high chance of, losing her belt just because, like, she is dominant, but just because she's, on the back end of her career. So people like Macy Barber, who's younger, who's like way younger, could get a title shot over her and maybe do something. Aaron Blanchfield could use like wrestling. I don't know. Like, this division's just so shit. And then my girlfriend, Natalia Silva, we are dating, but, she has a good chance. I think she can keep it on the outside with Shevchenko, try to avoid some of the grappling, keep that front leg side kick that we work on so much. That's a good weapon of hers. So I think if she can use that, keep the range, pop in and out, kind of like Shevchenko fights, like that might be a decent fight. And I think my girlfriend, has the style to beat her. So if she beats Rose, so yeah, Valentina, I think she has a pretty high chance of losing belt. I think all the women are like high up on my list because I don't know, because they, the belt turnover. I feel like there's a lot of belt turnover. Maybe not so much in this division, but, I had to put the women in here, some here. So I don't know why I'm keep talking. Valentina, I think you could lose your belt. All right. Next up is Volk. And I think Volk's going to lose, his next fight. So that's why he's so high. I think he has, a high chance of losing his belt, to fighters like Diego. I think Diego slams him out. And, I want to see Volk lose the belt because we're not fucking Volk fans over here. We're Volk haters. So, we're not haters, but we just don't fuck with the guy because he's boring as shit. But anyway, contenders like Lopez, who I think will chin him at UFC 325. But if he does get by Lopez somehow, he's got Evloev with the wrestling. That'll be a tough matchup. He's got Lerone Murphy, who I think the best chance to beat someone on this list is Lerone Murphy for Volk. So if that fight happens, maybe he'll retain his belt, after the Lopez fight. I don't think he'll retire. He said he won't, so, but we'll see if he loses. But I think Volk has, definitely a high chance of losing his belt. I don't see this guy as like a fucking featherweight go. I don't see this guy really like as, high up on the featherweight go list. I got McGregor over him, like, call me crazy, but I got McGregor, I got Aldo over him. I got Holloway, and I damn near have put Topuria over him too because he beat him head to head. So that's what I'm saying. Volk, we're not really fans of you, and you are probably going to get slammed out in your next fight. So you're high up on my list for someone who I think will lose their belt in 2026. Next up, we do have Kayla Harrison, and now I think Kayla Harrison has a good chance of losing her next fight to Nunes, but it's just, this is actually an interesting women's fight for like once and forever. Like this is a pretty interesting fight between Nunes and Harrison. Like Nunes, we don't know how she's going to look coming back after like a almost damn near 3-year layoff. So if she comes back like she's like a killer, like I could see her putting out Harrison early, like kind of like a Cyborg fight. But if she's like tentative and shitty, like I could see Harrison just grappling her for 5 rounds, maybe getting a sub. So, she does have a chance to lose in her next fight, but it's kind of iffy. And then another contender I have written on here is Ronda Rousey, because I think if Harrison beats Nunes here, only if Harrison beats Nunes. Harrison versus Rousey on the White House card. Harrison retires on the White House card, obviously. I think she's got 2 more fights in her. And Ronda Rousey's rumored to be coming back. So why not make her Ronda Rousey versus Kayla Harrison? Fuck it. Why not? Anyway, I think they both did judo too, so that's kind of like, that'll be like a good connection. Get a women's fight on the White House. So I think, I don't think Ronda Rousey would beat Kayla Harrison, but I think Nunes has a good chance. So that's why she's so high on my list. Moving on. I think Peter Yan. Peter Yan's right around mid for me. He could lose his belt in his next fight to any of these guys, really. Merab, Sean, or Umar. I think these are strong contenders for Peter Yan to fight. The Merab fight could go either way. We saw domination on both sides, so who knows when Merab has like time off and he's not fighting back to back how he'll look. So I'm excited for that trilogy if it gets made. If Sean goes out and beats Song Yadong at 324, I could see them just making Sean versus Peter and saying to hell with Merab. So I could see that happening. And I do think Peter would beat Sean, but I mean Sean beat him before, so anything happened. And then Umar versus Peter, I think would be a crazy fight too. So, and that has good potential. But I think Peter maybe would, put the pace on him and beat him in the later rounds. But I don't know. But Peter Yan's right around the middle of the pack for me. Like I could see him going on a little bit of a streak, but I also could see him losing in his next fight just because his contenders are so good. But yeah, I have Peter Yan in the 6 for, he's like 6th place for me, and the chances of losing his belt in 2026. Moving on, we have Alex Pereira. Now, this is kind of tricky because Alex might move to heavyweight, so we don't really know what his status is. There are rumblings and like rumors of Alberg versus Yuri for the vacant title because Pereira is going to move up, which I think that will happen. But if he stays at 205, I don't really see him losing to any of these guys I listed. I didn't put Yuri because I don't think they'll make that 3rd fight unless Yuri goes on like a crazy streak this year. Then I don't know, but he doesn't have a fight scheduled. So, if he stays at 205, I can see him beating Carlos Ulberg in kind of like a ho-hum fucking fight. Maybe he catches him, but I can see him beating Ankalaev again, but I don't think they're going to give him that shot. And then I put Mirzakhanov because he's on a streak, and if he gets like 2 more wins, he'll probably be next for the belt. And he's undefeated, and he gets knockouts. So that would probably be a banger fight, but I can see Alex, wiping through all 3 of these guys. But an Ankalaev trilogy could be, it could be interesting. An Alberg fight maybe could be interesting because he's like a Adesanya fucking boring ass fucking prospect, or like, what's that word? Prodigy or some shit like that. So I could see that fight being boring as shit. Alex trying to make it fun, but Alberg just being boring as fuck. So, yeah, I think Pereira would take care of all 3 of these guys. So I don't really see him losing his belt, and if he stays at light heavyweight, but I could see him losing his belt if he vacates. So, but we're not considering the fact that he could vacate. We're only considering if he fights at the weight class. So I can see Alex keeping his belt for a while, but someone I could see keeping his belt for more of a while than Alex is Tom Aspinall. Now, the reason I have him above Alex is because his division is so fucking shallow. Like, you have Cyril Gane. Obviously, that rematch is going to happen next, I think, unless Cyril Gane fights Alex Pereira, which, I have Alex Pereira as a contender for Tom Aspinall to fight. But if he fights Cyril right off again, I think he's got a good chance of beating Cyril. I think that first fight, it wasn't a fluke, but it'll be a more compelling fight. We didn't see who had the edge. We just saw it would be a really good, compelling fight. So that fight could honestly go either way, and I think Tom would win that. But I think he would, fight Alex. If Tom, sits out, then we have Pereira versus Gane for the interim belt, and either whoever wins that. I think if Alex wins, Tom has a good chance of beating Alex with the wrestling and just pure size. But anything could happen. We could see. And then I put Gable Steves in here because who the fuck else is Tom gonna fight? Fucking Derek Lewis. Like, that fight would end in like fucking 5 seconds. So there's no one that. This is why I have Tom so high on my list because I don't think he's gonna lose his belt in 2026. Because like look at the list of contenders. There's no other than Cyril Gane, and if Alex doesn't move up, it's Cyril Gane and who else? Like, literally, that's it. A Volkov rematch isn't interesting. Almeida just lost. Like, Waldo Cortez is boring as fuck. So, like, is it just a boring matchup? No, like, Waldo has no hype. If he goes out there and beats Derek Lewis, maybe. But so I could see them signing Gable Steveson at like the White House. Maybe he fights at the White House and then he just gets an immediate title shot because there's no one else, and he's decent. So that's why I have Tom so high, is because the contenders are really shitty. So I have Tom in the 4th spot. Moving on, I have Topuria. I have Topuria in the 3, honestly. And I think he's going to keep his belt. If he stays at lightweight, I think he will keep his belt through 2026. I don't think he has a good chance of losing it. But that being said, if Justin does win at 324, then he will vacate the belt. So I'm telling you that's going to happen. Like, that's a fucking fact, damn near. So I think that's going to happen. But let's just say Patty wins. He'll fight Patty in like the summer or fall. And then he might honestly just sit out because that's what he does. He doesn't fucking fight, which is the only problem with this guy. He's so fucking entertaining, but the guy just doesn't fucking fight. So he could just fight Patty and then sit out the rest of the year, or he could fight Patty like summertime and then get one more in at the end of the year against Arman or against a Charles coming off, a win against Max, and maybe Arman at the time. Who knows if Arman gets in there and fucking fights too. I have a video about that too. So it's just purely based off like inactivity. That's why Ilya is so high. I could see Arman giving him a good fight. I could see Charles submitting him and knocking him out also too. Don't call me delusional. I just do. That's my guy, Charles. So I think that could happen. But I think if he fights Patty, and he only fights once this year, he's going to beat Patty. So I have Ilya, barely, fighting this year, maybe fighting once, possibly twice. And I think if it is in the lightweight division, I think he does. I think he does keep that belt. So I have him at the 3. Coming in at the 2, I have Islam. I don't see Islam losing his belt this year at all. 1 and 2 could go either way. Obviously, you know who I have at 1, but I'll talk about him in a minute. I don't see Islam losing, especially if they make the Kamaru-Usman fight, which is just fucking insane. If they make that fight, I don't see him losing that. I think he dominates Usman. And then he'll probably only fight one more time, and it's either going to be against Gary, who I think he dominates Gary. Prates, I think he would dominate Prates. And Michael Morales, that's the scary one. I think that could be a good scrap, but who knows if Islam might just go in there and just fucking double leg him, and then we realize Morales has absolutely no fucking takedown defense, and it's a boring fucking fight. So I don't see him losing, especially if he fights Kamaru first and then one of these contenders second, or if he only fights once this year, which is possible because these guys champions never fucking fight anymore. I could also see that happening too, but I think he will get 2 this year, especially now that he doesn't have to cut weight at lightweight. So I think it's Kamaru, sadly, and then maybe Ian or Michael fight, maybe Carlos and Michael fight, something like that. One of these 3 contenders, and I think he beats them pretty handedly too. So I don't see Makhachev losing his belt at all this year. And yeah, I think he's going to be pretty dominant. Maybe he might retire this year after 2 more. Who knows? But yeah, and then obviously at number 1, this guy's not losing the belt for a while, bro. Unless he vacates and goes to 205, then he's losing the belt. But if this guy stays at 185 for this year and like fucking 5 years after this, the guy's not going to lose. Nasruddin Imavov, I'm sorry, you have no fucking chance. You have just absolutely no chance. There's not a chance in hell. I would pick Hamza 100%. I'd bet my fucking entire life savings that that Hamza beats Imavov. So there's just absolutely no fucking chance that Imavov wins. Hamza's going to take him down in the first 10 seconds. He'd do the same to Brendan. Oh, I spelled Brendan Allen wrong. Nice. No editing over here, so we fucked that up. But Brendan Allen the same. He would absolutely school fucking Brendan Allen. Not even close. I didn't put Strickland on here because I think Hernandez is going to beat Strickland. And I think Hernandez has the best chance to keep up with Hamza, but still, I don't think it would be competitive at all. I think Hamza would take him down and just lay on him. So I genuinely don't see this guy losing at all. I think he could retire as the 185 GOAT. I'm not even capping. Like, this guy could fight like twice a year, but he won't. He'll only fight fucking once too, which that's another reason why I don't see him losing the belt, because he doesn't fucking fight. Half of these fucking guys don't fucking fight. They fight once a fucking year, which is just absolutely bullshit. But anyway, this guy could fucking stay in this division 10 more years and just keep taking 1 or 2 fights here and just blowing off these shitty contenders. So unless someone comes up the ranks at 185, then I think Hernandez has the best shot. But other than him, and I don't even think he does good. I think he gets 50-45. So maybe he paces, maybe he puts a pace on Hamza we've never seen before. But I don't know, man. I don't see this guy losing at all. So I think Hamza has the least chance to lose his belt this year. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Let me know what you think of my list. Obviously, I think a lot of people have Hamza on the 1, Islam on the 2, Ilya on the 3. So I think those are like interchangeable, but obviously Hamza, I don't think he's going to lose. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.